Well, good Sunday morning and welcome to Invest Northwest. Once again, I'm Sean Owsley. Well, exciting news for Spokane and really Spokane County as a whole. The Health Services and Science Authority's Board of Directors announcing it will award nearly $1.7 million in health sciences research and infrastructure for the Spokane area, the largest HSSA award to date, and its intent is to help grow health sciences research capacity in our area. It is the first distribution from a $10+ million fund. HSSA established by bonding 75% of its revenue stream through Spokane County for this specific purpose. And here to talk about it in depth and the impact that will have is Dr. Gary Pollack, WSU Vice Provost for Health Sciences, Dean and Professor, College of Pharmacy, and Dr. David J. Vachon, CEO and founder, ISIS Molecular Sciences. Gentlemen, both of you, thank you for being here on the program.
Oh, thank you.
You know, we like to highlight positive business economic news here on Invest Northwest. Dr. Pollack, if you can, what does this mean? The numbers and the figures that I outlined and how they're being put to use, what does this mean for our region?
Well, what it simply means is that it's building a foundation to allow us to grow health sciences research out of the academic corridor in Spokane. As you know, based on the state of the economy over the last several years, there aren't many programs that are in a position to grow. And WSU is different. It has a commitment to grow on the health sciences side, and HSSA is just an extremely important partner in this.
And Dr. Vachon, to you, being a recipient, the 5th HSSA award is to your company here in Spokane. It relates to funding research to expedite commercialization and spur job growth. Talk about how that happens.
Well, my company is actually working in a very important area. The prevention and treatment of nosocomial infection or healthcare acquired infections. And this is a very significant problem today, and our research has led to the development of something that actually works and is very exciting. And so we have a solution for this that can fit into this big problem area, and as a consequence, I am in the process of working towards commercializing it, and it is going to allow me to grow the company.
You were awarded from HSSA $486,038, which is matched by federal grant funds that you already received to develop and commercialize the new family additives that you are touching on and talking about. Indeed. That research. I want to read a quote from you. It says, "We are very pleased with this award. Every year it costs the U.S. healthcare system roughly $46 billion to address healthcare acquired infections from bacteria that find their way onto devices used in the body, catheters, ventilation assist devices, surgical repair devices, for example." That type of specific research that you're doing to kind of help alleviate that financial burden on the medical industry.
Indeed, indeed. So this is obviously a very complex problem. It reaches all across medicine, and we have a very specific solution that won't address all of the issues, but will address some of the issues more related to patients that the big concern is with patients that already have suppressed immune systems. They're in the hospital environment receiving chemotherapy, and so we can actually render these devices that they are actually implanted with, that they are receiving medication through, to prevent bacteria from coming from outside the body and getting in and causing significant problems.
Incredible. Dr. Pollack, I want to come back over to you. On a bigger picture scale, if you can, especially even when the economy was at rock bottom, we've been slowly climbing ourselves out of that hole. It does seem like the medical field here, obviously a huge hospital presence in our area and a medical industry that creates so many jobs in our area, two-pronged with the push for the new four-year medical school at WSU. Seems like there's a lot of positive news for the recent memory surrounding this field and medical industry and research and grants being awarded.
That's absolutely true. My last stop before coming to Spokane a couple of years ago was in North Carolina, in Chapel Hill. And there's an area in North Carolina called the Research Triangle Park. It is one of the 3 most rapidly growing areas of the country right now. And it's built around biomedical sciences. Started in the mid-1950s with a commitment from the state university and public and private partners. And I can see the exact same thing happening in Spokane, perhaps on a slightly smaller scale, but nevertheless utilizing medicine, healthcare delivery, and health sciences research as a hub for economic growth.
If you can, I know usually from what I've heard and the people I've talked to associated with the medical school, it's the initial stages, getting it off the ground, that can be the most challenging. They say after that it kind of starts generating power on its own and momentum on its own, and it really transformed the region, say 10, 20, 30 years out. Is that how you see it?
That's absolutely true. I mean, if you look at the numbers on the medical sciences side, we're planning on hiring 20 new research active faculty over the next 5 years. On the College of Pharmacy side, we're planning about the same scope of hires, 15 to 20 new research active faculty. Each one of those individuals will probably have a research group somewhere in the range of 5 to 10 scientists. So now we're talking about 200 to 400 new scientists in Spokane, all contributing to the mission of developing health sciences research over a relatively short period of time. And the multiplicative factors here are just outstanding.
It can exponentially just explode if you can get it concretely into the community. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. And bringing in federal dollars to support research, collaborating with the pharmaceutical industry and other healthcare partners to bring in research dollars, beginning to build some healthcare delivery models for the region. All of these things overlap and build upon each other, and it's really an incredible opportunity for the area.
HSSA, Health Science and Services Authority of Spokane County, kind of augments this, helps buffer it and build it and allow this research to continue. I want to give our viewers, if I can, just some quick background of HSSA of Spokane County. It was created by the Washington State Legislature in 2007 to promote bioscience-based economic development and public health, authorized by Spokane County Commissioners in late 2008, and the inaugural board was appointed there, 3 each by the governor. Spokane County Commissioners and Mayor of Spokane began operating in 2009. They received 0.02% sales and use tax in Spokane County, approximately $1.4 million annually to fulfill the mission, and began its grant funding in 2009. That grant funding, Dr. Vachon, if you can, when you learned that you were going to receive that $486,000 grant that can then be matched on a federal level, what do you take away from that? How does that change what you do daily here in the region?
Well, it was actually the other way around. So the federal funding came first, and this is matching the federal funding. So basically, I have bootstrapped my company by receiving funding from largely the NIH, but I also have funding from the Department of Defense. And so these are all synergistic programs. And so with this funding in hand, this in the HSSA's mission and these RFPs that were issued, I submitted not knowing that I was going to get funding, but of course when you hear that you are going to receive $486,000, that's amazing. And it's going to make a big difference. I mean, we're going to grow from a company of 3 to a company of 5. And we're going to really push this program forward and begin to really think about what it's going to take it to the next level. That is, build a facility to make these additives, hire the knowledge workers into the area that are going to actually conduct and carry out the synthetic work that needs to be done. Think about distribution, partnering, licensing the technology, selling them, these materials. So it's a pretty big dream, goal, and I think it can make a really big impact in the region.
That's the kind of news you like to receive, right?
Absolutely.
And Dr. Pollack, we're just about out of time, but just overall big picture with all the information we covered, going forward, where do you see the research that's being done, the medical community in Spokane, and this grant-type funding all converging and taking us from here?
Well, what I see, at least on the College of Pharmacy side, is focusing on plugging the gap that's been left by the pharmaceutical industry in an area called drug development, getting drugs from the conceptual stage out into the marketplace. Large pharmaceutical companies have stepped away from this because it's so incredibly expensive, and the patent laws don't allow recovery of that investment very well. Federal government has identified this as a key area of emphasis going forward if we're going to continue to improve health care, and it's an enormous opportunity for academic organizations to focus on.
All right.
Something we can step into right away.
Well, it's certainly positive news, and gentlemen, both of you, thanks for coming on Invest Northwest and sharing your insight on what is happening right now in the community. It is exciting and it's positive. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much.
You bet. Good to have you. We're going to take a break. You're watching Invest Northwest. We're back in a minute.